You did call this a smoking gun, which says that you believe this proves some sort of collusion, perhaps, between the Trump campaign and Russia. What do you believe it's a smoking gun for?
The smoking gun is that President Trump said that he was wiretapped. We don't have wires in our phones anymore. Nobody actually literally taps a wire. They might on occasion, but for the most part, we use the term wiretapping to mean eavesdropping. So now we know that someone in the Obama administration was eavesdropping and specifically searching a databank looking for the Trump people.
Where did you
That's a big deal.
Senator, there's a difference, between incidental surveillance, which is what this was, and ordering wiretapping on an office.
I think it's a mistake.
To assert that this proves what Donald Trump said is true,
I think it's a mistake.
Irresponsible.
I think it's a mistake to downgrade this and say, oh, it was just incidental, it's no big deal. It is a huge deal that we are collecting millions of Americans' phone calls and that someone can go to a keyboard and put your name in and search it without a warrant. This is an illegal warrantless search. This is the kind of stuff that is rife for abuse from either party. And Joe had it exactly right when he said, if Dick Cheney did this to the Obama administration, Bill and every other leftist in the country would be on the other side of this issue. It's not a partisan issue.
But you know what? It's very, very different thing to say someone in the Obama administration was surveilling, was listening to specific conversations. We just simply don't know that.
Well, here's the thing: is you can order the specific, listening device, or you can say, you know what, we already have it, and it's this amazing reverse targeting, and we have millions of people in a database, and I can be Susan Rice and go down and type Donald Trump or General Flynn into a database, and boom, up comes all this information. Is that not the same as ordering the surveillance? They know it exists. Look, every international businessman or woman who talks overseas is in that database. Do we want political officials to be able to type in the name of Bill Gates and find out they have a deal going on in Europe?
But those names
we
are
do
supposed to
not
be
want that
masked.
to happen.
That's the point.
I believe Susan Rice abused this system, and she did it for political purposes. She needs to be brought in and questioned under oath.
Okay, you believe that, but none of us here, including Senator, with all due respect, know that. So let's just be very careful
ask her under oath.
And I'm not defending Susan Rice. I'm not at all.
Ask her whether President Obama ordered this or whether he knew about it. That is a big deal if the outgoing administration was actually literally sifting through things, and part of his administration already said we were going to scatter, we were going to get as much information, we were going to scatter it out there publicly to try to harm the Trump administration. This was a witch hunt that began with the Obama administration, sour grapes on the way out the door. They were going to use the intelligence apparatus to attack Trump, and I think they did.
Senator Paul, you had an audience with President Trump, a golf game a couple of days ago.
Just recently. It just happens to be, and you sound like this. It's so interesting.
First of all, who won when the two of you played, sir?
Well, the first thing I would admit is that the president is very good, and of the foursome, he probably was the best in the foursome. But we did have a wager, and the president was my partner, and the wager was this: if our team won, that, I'd just be on board, I would throw out everything I've said over the last month, and I would be all in for the plan. But as it were, the match wound up tied, and since we were tied, I'm still wanting it to happen. I still offer new alternatives, new ways of thinking about it, because I think we are still at an impasse. I think they still think they can pound a square peg into a round hole, and that's what's still going on. I've offered them a way out of this that I think pleases moderates and conservatives. And the way out of this is not to try to put all the things that moderates want to retain in the bill, simply leave them as a little bit of Obamacare that we don't get rid of. Even though I'm for getting rid of all of it, I would compromise by leaving some in place. But what I don't like, and what many conservatives don't like, is to repeal all of the Obamacare subsidies, but then replace them with Republican subsidies. If you want to keep some subsidies, just repeal 80% of the Obama subsidies. Conservatives might be allowed to go along with that.
So, Senator, you're confirming out of your conversation with the president that the president is not, in fact, done with health care. As the White House said a week and a half ago, they said, we've turned the corner, it's behind us, we didn't get it done. They want to come back to it and come back to it soon, it sounds like.
My impression is that no one's given up on this. I've not given up. Freedom Caucus has not given up. And I also don't think the White House has either. I can't characterize what was said a week ago, But from this weekend, my conversations with both the president, the budget director, as well as the chief of staff is everybody still wants to do what we promised to do, which is a repeal Obamacare.
All right,
Okay, Senator Rand Paul. I learned a lot here.
Thanks, Senator.